A discussion taking place behind closed doors at the Indiana Fever headquarters would permanently alter the history of women's basketball. The rookie star that revolutionized the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, had a revelation that would rock the organization that selected her. Her statements in that private meeting would put an end to one coach's career and start the most unexpected hiring in the history of professional sports. Nobody could have predicted how a single revelation from the biggest star in the league would cause an organizational earthquake that threatens to rewrite everything we thought we knew about coaching in women's professional basketball when basketball legend Larry Bird's name began to circulate as a possible replacement. After leading the Indiana Fever during Caitlin Clark's spectacular debut season in Arts Henleying Arter, Christy Sides is currently the team's head coach. When Sides was hired in January, Arts Henleying Art Suin handled the intense media attention surrounding the league's most marketable athlete while successfully integrating Clark into the WNBA. Contrary to previous rumors, Stephanie White is presently the head coach of the Connecticut Sun rather than the Indiana Fever. Before being fired following the Arts Henleying Chaloupe season, White had coached the team to the WNBA playoffs. Before rejoining Connecticut in the WNBA, she worked as a coach at Vanderbilt University. Throughout the Arts and Lingard season, Indiana's coaching position has stayed steady. However, as the team navigates its newfound success and commercial prominence, concerns are raised regarding what internal organizational factors might be influencing long-term coaching decisions and team direction. Despite never having coached in the WNBA, famous Boston Celtics player and former Indiana Pacers executive Larry Bird has strong links to Indiana basketball. He has 3 NBA titles under his belt, worked as an executive for the Pacers, and is regarded as one of the best basketball players in history. Sports commentators speculate that in order to preserve competitive edge and commercial attractiveness, team management may take into account unusual coaching methods or high-profile hires due to the success and pressure surrounding Clark's presence. The journey of Caitlin Clark from University of Iowa college basketball to professional basketball. How coaching relationships and playing methods had to be significantly altered for Caitlin. In contrast to standard WNBA frameworks, her college coach, Lisa Bluer, gave her a great deal of autonomy and offensive freedom. Throughout the rookie season, the interaction between Clark and Christie's teams has been handled professionally, with both sides publicly expressing respect for one another while overcoming the difficulties of incorporating a well-known rookie into the team's current procedures. There have been instances of communication between Clark and teams during games that have been closely examined by the media and supporters in an effort to learn more about their working relationship as well as possible points of contention or disagreement on player usage and strategy. Clark faced difficulties adjusting to the different coaching philosophies of collegiate and professional basketball. At Iowa, he had much offensive responsibility and decision-making authority, which needed to be modified for WNBA team dynamics. It is unclear how Clark's preferences for offensive schemes, playing styles, and team dynamics may affect her assessment of coaching efficacy and what insights she may have on maximizing both her own professional growth and the success of her team. Indiana is inextricably linked to the basketball history of Larry Bird. His knowledge of basketball culture and competitive brilliance spans several decades and levels of the sport, from his upbringing in French Lick to his illustrious playing career and later managerial positions with the Indiana Pacers. Bird established himself as one of the NBA's best players while winning 3 titles with the Boston Celtics. Finest shooters and most fiercely competitive basketball players in history. His competition with Magic Johnson created models for Ibel Exynos and contributed to the NBA's rise in prominence during the Ichin Joe Light batteries. During his tenure as head coach of the Indiana Pacers from Ichin Joel Joller Tfu Arts Henyu, Bird led the team to the NBA Finals in Arton. Later, he served as president of basketball operations, where he contributed to the development of organizational culture and competitive teams. His basketball philosophy places a strong emphasis on the principles of competitive intensity and team-first strategies with countries that have demonstrated success in a variety of historical periods and basketball competition levels. These ideas might apply to professional basketball for women. Any basketball organization looking for credibility, basketball expertise, and the capacity to command respect from players who recognize his historical relevance to the sport will find Bird appealing due to his legendary standing in Indiana basketball circles. Historically, the majority of coaches in the WNBA have come from backgrounds in women's basketball, including former players and coaches who specialized in women's basketball culture and competitive dynamics. Increased crossover between men's and women's coaching has been a recent trend in professional sports, and some organizations are investigating whether coaching knowledge transcends gender boundaries and what advantages can result from a variety of coaching viewpoints and experiences. In women's professional sports, the success of coaches from diverse backgrounds has established precedents for taking into account non-traditional hires when organizations are looking for competitive advantages or alternative methods of player development and team building. When it comes to coaching assignments, there are questions regarding whether elite basketball knowledge and coaching skills transcend traditional gender limits and what elements should decide coaching efficacy outside of historical precedent and conventional expectations. Sports experts question whether coaching a generational star like Clark presents special chances and problems that call for alternative coaching philosophies or tactics that might benefit from unusual hiring choices. Professional sports teams base their coaching choices on a variety of criteria, such as player relationships, organizational culture, fan engagement, competitive performance, and commercial concerns that go beyond conventional basketball measurements. Compared to typical WNBA franchise scenarios, the Indiana Fever's transition from a struggling franchise to a financially successful organization has special opportunities and challenges that may affect coaching decisions. Coaching efficacy is assessed by franchise ownership and management using a variety of criteria, such as player development, team chemistry, competitive outcomes, media relations, and the capacity to optimize the potential of important players and organizational assets. The franchise must balance competitive objectives with preserving the contentment and growth of its most important player and commercial asset due to the increased commercial success brought about by Clark's presence. Legal experts point out that in order to prevent legal issues, coaching changes in professional sports include complicated contractual considerations, such as buyout clauses, recruitment procedures, and league approval procedures. Superstar athletes in professional sports frequently have an impact on coaching choices due to their preferences, requirements for growth, and the organizational commitment to helping them reach their full potential and stay satisfied with team leadership and direction. For a team to succeed, the bond between top players and the coaching staff becomes essential. When businesses make large financial and competitive investments in particular players who produce large profits and a competitive edge. Historical precedents. In professional sports, there are instances where coaching decisions were impacted by the preferences of superstar players or disclosures regarding the efficacy of coaching in maximizing the potential of great talent. Because of the special position that generational talents like Clark occupy, their opinions and perspectives on the efficacy of coaching may be given more weight in organizational decision-making. Procedures that go beyond the usual relationships between players and coaches. What part player preferences should play in important organizational choices like coaching changes, and how franchise organizations strike a balance between player participation and impartial evaluation of coaching success are questions that come up. Regardless of the gender of players or coaches, the core ideas of basketball strategy, player development, and competition preparation are frequently seen as universal. However, communication and execution strategies might need to be modified for various situations. Understanding player psychology is essential for successful basketball coaching at the top levels, right? Strategic planning, in-game modifications, and fostering relationships that can be applicable to many leagues and competitive settings. The technical facets of basketball coaching, such as player positioning, talent development, offensive and defensive schemes, and game preparation, require knowledge that could be enhanced by a variety of viewpoints and experiences from various basketball competition levels. According to sports psychology studies, common gender experiences between coaches and players are less important for coaching efficacy than communication, skills, basketball knowledge, and leadership ability. Legal experts point out that employment decisions and coaching qualifications must be based on organizational fit and real hierarchical credentials rather than presumptions about gender-related coaching advantages or limits that can give rise to discriminatory issues. Final rates. In professional sports, high-profile coaching hiring can result in substantial media coverage, fan interest, and business prospects that can help teams by increasing their exposure and marketing potential beyond conventional competitive considerations. Caitlin Clark's presence and performance have played a major role in the Indiana Fever's commercial success, which has increased pressure on the team to make organizational decisions that sustain fan engagement and the commercial momentum created by her rookie season. High-profile coaching choices that increase media attention and public interest in their team and women's basketball in general may improve marketing and sponsorship prospects. The WNBA's typical hiring practices may change to accommodate more diverse coaching in the future, and the precedent of unorthodox coaching appointments may have an impact on how other teams make coaching decisions. There are concerns regarding whether high-profile coaching choices generate long-term competitive benefits or are mostly used for short-term marketing and publicity, as well as how commercial factors should be balanced with competitive objectives. Coaching strategies for elite basketball players must exploit their special talents while identifying areas for development and incorporating their skills into team structures that maximize overall performance and competitive success. Adapting her college success to professional basketball while retaining the inventiveness and scoring prowess that made her a generational talent and commercial phenomenon is one of Caitlin Clark's unique growth demands. Aspects of top individual performance and team competitive potential may be unlocked by different coaching philosophies' approaches to player development, offensive systems, UO, defensive strategies, and team harmony. The shift from collegiate to professional basketball frequently necessitates particular coaching care and knowledge of how to adjust top amateur players to the more competitive, physically demanding, and strategically complicated nature of professional basketball. Sports observers question whether Clark's growth could be enhanced by coaching philosophies that prioritize individual greatness, competitive intensity, and offensive inventiveness within team structures that optimize her special skills. Coaching choices made by well-known teams like the Indiana Fever can have an impact on WNBA trends and expectations, especially when such choices involve unusual strategies or high-profile personnel changes. The success or failure of creative coaching strategies could set precedents that influence how other teams assess coaching applicants and what credentials and experiences they value most when making hiring decisions. While typically granting franchises authority in selecting personnel decisions that they believe will maximize competitive performance and organizational success, league officials keep an eye on coaching decisions to guarantee adherence to WNBA policies and procedures. The larger women's basketball community, which includes international leagues and collegiate coaches, keeps a close eye on WNBA coaching trends and innovations that may have an impact on coaching philosophies and professional advancement at various women's basketball levels. Successful adoption of a variety of coaching philosophies raises concerns about whether it could hasten changes in the coaching culture across women's professional sports and open up new avenues for coaching career advancement. High-profile coaching choices also garner a lot of media attention and public discussion, which can affect a franchise's reputation, fan involvement, and